Welcome back, everyone, to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. If you have not seen this campaign up to this point, there is a link in the description that will take you back to the beginning. And just a request, if you like this and you want to see more of it, please hit that like button and leave a comment. I would greatly appreciate it. I had a request to talk about some of the perks that are available for armies, for brigades. So I'm going to do that in today's episode, and I'm going to start off with it on the Army of the Tennessee because we actually have a perk available to the Army of the Tennessee. Now, the perks for armies are different than the perks for brigades, and I believe Corps also have perks. So armies and Corps have perks, and then also perks for brigades, but these are the Army perks. The heavy siege artillery is assembled into what is called a siege train and transported to take part in sieges only. The siege train consists of heavy rifled artillery and mortars. Your siege firepower is plus 25%. And all of these perks are leveled up by doing some action. And it tells you how you level that perk up, because you can level perks up all the way to level 3. When a brigade levels its perk to level 3, you get a special battle flag that signals that that is an elite unit on the battlefield. Now, unlike brigades, armies can have 3 different perks. Brigades only get 1 that they can level up to 3. Another one available here is Field Telegraph. And each level of this perk gives you a greater bonus of the same kind. So order delays are minus 10%. So obviously I think that one would probably go to maybe 30% order delays if we get it up higher. Balloon Corps give you a plus 25% to intelligence gathering and plus 25% to order delays. Oh, so it actually makes the delays take longer because you're relaying those orders. So that makes sense. Bureau of Military Information, intelligence gathering is up 10%. You level that up by scouting. Skilled Cartographers, intelligence gathering and movement speed plus 5%. Flying Column 1, movement speed plus 10%. Maximum supplies plus 50%. That's probably the one I'm going to choose for the Army of the Tennessee. The supply issue being a big one because they're going to be moving a lot. Foot Cavalry, forced march speed plus 10%. I don't really use forced march. Attrition during forced marches is down 10%. Engineers and Mechanics, construction speed plus 25%. You level that up by constructing forts, depots, and telegraph stations. That might be a good one to have too. Ambulance Corps is one I use a lot with my armies. Speed reduction due to wounded soldiers minus 25%. Mortality rate of wounded minus 10%. Level up by attending the wounded. Pontoon Train, movement speed across small rivers plus 25% and supply efficiency plus 10%. Sappers and Miners, siege assault efficiency plus 25%. Land torpedoes, skirmishing efficiency plus 5%. Enemy movement speed within range minus 10%. Partisan Brigade, skirmishing efficiency plus 25%. Raiding morale hit on enemies plus 10%. Raiding is a setting that you can have in your various orders for your army. Bushwhackers, skirmishing efficiency. I think I already said that. Did I? It's basically the same as Partisan Brigades. Rating support hit plus 10%. Embedded Reporters. This will the speed of fame development plus 25%. Limelights. Siege and skirmishing efficiency during nighttime is plus 25%. You level up fighting sieges. Expert Scouts. Intelligence gathering plus 25%. River Expedition. River movement speed plus 25%. Siege assault efficiency plus 10%. So we're going to use Flying Column, maximum supplies plus 50%. So that's going to help a lot, I think. And now you can see that the experience will begin to start getting that second perk. I don't think any of my other armies currently have perks available to them. But as we get into a battle, I will show you the perks that are available to the brigades. All right, we've got to move the Army of the Kanawha up here to Lynchburg and try to hit them because we are cut off completely from supply, and the Army of the Kanawha is going to have trouble in a hurry if we don't deal with that. So we're going to move up here, hit the Army of the Northwest, try to move back here to the Salem Depot so we can reestablish supply. I may build a fort right there at that point. I don't know. We'll see. Also thinking about maybe putting an army down here at the Fort Monroe Garrison. We're working on putting another brigade there, so we'll get up to 6,000 men. And I'm also adding another brigade of infantry to Fort Washington. Actually, 2 brigades. So we're going to have a total of 9,000 men in Fort Washington. And I'm probably going to put a couple of forts over here in Alexandria as well. But I'll need somebody to build those. So let's see. I think we're going to have to move the 5th Corps under Phil Sheridan up there. You know what? Yeah, we probably should do that anyway, just because we're dealing with some issues with that unit. Saying they're unhappy. Hopefully it's not because of Phil Sheridan, because I really would hate to have to replace him. Let me take a look real quick and see if that's the case. See, it's not showing unhappy on here, so I think we're okay. It's not because of Hooker. Oh, man. Joe Hooker's defamed? No. That's a problem, because look at his numbers. Oh, I'm concerned about that. Because he's got great leadership and administration. I'd really hate to have to replace him. I'm looking here at the other corps commanders, and I got nobody that even comes close. I'm also looking at division commanders, thinking who I might bump up to corps command. Barnard could be a possibility. Gibbon's a definite possibility for corps command eventually. Halleck's got a lot of fame, but not a lot of numbers to back it up. Don't really have a lot. Maybe Joseph Mansfield, who did command a corps historically. Oh boy, don't like that. So the Confederates keep sending troops by rail up here to try and get around my army to hit Washington. So what I'm going to do, that's 19,000. That's about 32,000 men. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that he's doing that to make a move south. Oh, looks like Army of the Potomac's got an available perk. So I'm going to select Ambulance Corps. So we're going to start moving as much of this army south as I can. Okay, we're crossing the Rappahannock River. 5th Corps is going to move down here a little closer, so in the future when they do this, we'll be able to intercept. But I think, at least for the time being, we ought to be able to hold against this siege. Do we have... Oh, we don't have the 9,000 men yet. So that concerns me a little bit. If I had 9,000 men, it'd probably be a different story. I may have to send Sheridan to go confront them, even though he'll be a little bit outnumbered. 2nd Corps is in the lead. Alright, so we're going to have a total of about 100,000 men and 200 guns up against maybe half that number. So this is a good situation for us, though we certainly... And actually Sheridan's 5th Corps is going to arrive in support, so that's even better. I like the numbers. He'll have a slightly more even situation. At the beginning, he's going to have 30,000 men to my 25,000, but I will very quickly gain the numbers on him. This should be a good battle for me. All right, not surprised we're on the Chancellorsville battlefield, since that's right about where this is taking place. That will certainly make things interesting because of the factor of the woods and the visibility issues involved. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. So Joe Hooker's over there, but really we just have the 2nd Corps right now. And it does look like we have some units that are going to have some perks available, so we'll have a chance here to cover those perks. So let's talk about those for a second. 117th Pennsylvania, it has an available perk. Now, Engineering 1 is plus 25% to the engineering points in a battle, which is actually huge for an army, but I've got 56 to start, which is really good already. So I don't see that as being a huge plus. And you level that up by constructing entrenchments and pontoon boats, which I've never really done, but if we have an opportunity, I will probably do that. There are certain places that you can look at crossings on rivers, and it will show you that it's a place that you can do pontoons. I don't know if I'm going to see any here on the river here. Oh yeah, here we go, right here. So here's an example. This is a place that you can use your engineers to build pontoon bridges, which was a big thing at places like Petersburg and also Fredericksburg especially. Sharpshooters 1. A company of men in this unit are hand-picked marksmen. Your accuracy goes up 10%, and you level that up by engaging enemies at long range. That's one of the ones I like to use a lot. Zouaves. Trained to fight according to the French chasseurs à pied theories. This unit levels up by fighting prone, and they are able to run on the battlefield, which is not something that units otherwise are able to do. Expert skirmishers get 10% bonus to concealment, and they level up by having skirmishers in the field. Spirited Charge has melee strength plus 10. They level up in close combat. Deadly Volley is another one that I use a lot. Resistance to high momentary casualties is plus 50%, and their volley strength goes up 5%. They level up in short range engagements. Ace of Spade, plus 10% to cover. They level up from fighting behind cover. Iron Discipline's another one I like a lot. Cohesion increases 25% faster, and they level up in ranged combat. For this particular one, I'm going to use Sharpshooters 1 for their perk. And so anytime they engage at long range, they're going to start leveling that up. If they get it to Sharpshooter 3, they become an elite unit. So we've actually got 4 different entry points for the Confederate Army. One's up here kind of behind me. One here, one there. Actually 5 and one there. So they really could come from anywhere. So I'm going to kind of dig in the clearing area around Chancellorsville. It looks like most of my army is going to come from the north. So we may send one corps out this way just to scout for them. But I'm otherwise going to pretty much sit tight in the center. Put cavalry on my flanks just to watch for which road he might start coming down. And then we can adjust accordingly. All right, the first corps is arriving under Winfield Scott. They're coming in from this same area here. I'm going to send one of his divisions off this way. Well, actually, you know what? Better than that. I'm going to just use some of his cavalry scouts to do that. So once we get all of them in here, let's take a look here. Here's Scott. He's got Pleasanton and Davis available for that. So here's one of them now coming in. So let's go ahead and send, first things first, we're going to give them evade orders. That way in the event they do run into anybody, they're not going to sit around and try to fight. So we'll send them over that way. Jefferson C. Davis is our other cavalry commander. And we're going to send him, I think, maybe down this road here. See if we can't figure out if there's any Confederates over on this side. Those are the 2 areas I'm most concerned about, because if he comes from one of these other areas, I'm pretty well prepared for that. I do want to move up a little bit here. Okay, no sight of the enemy so far, so we're going to move Davis's cavalry up here to the area around Wilderness Church. We're going to move Wood's cavalry up here near Catherine Furnace, just to get a little bit more of a glimpse of what might be happening that way. We're going to send Pleasanton's cavalry up here, so that way we can see if anybody does enter, because he's also getting reinforcements over the next several hours, although we're going to hit nightfall before too long. But if he does have reinforcements arrive, we'll see him coming from that way. Tappan arrives. That's the Army of Northern Virginia, adding more troops to the battlefield. Now, it's possible that any of them could come from one of these directions. It's the reason I want to send these guys down here, because then that way they'll see anybody coming from either one of those roads. All right, he had another corps arrive, and now I have Wilcox's corps arriving from over here. So let's take a look and see what that puts the situation at as far as strength goes on either side. And then there's another one. That's Phil Sheridan arriving with the 5th Corps. And then Tappan has removed from the battlefield. That's interesting. So where's that put us now in terms of strength? 102,000 to his 62,000. So he's got everybody, and we've got pretty much everybody. All right, we have reached the end of the day, which is actually really good news because we've got our whole army, and now we can redeploy and get everybody right where we want them. Well, that didn't work out so well because some of our army didn't get to where it needed to be. So I guess, in fact, we're not going to be able to redeploy the whole army. We're going to have to still they were in the process of moving up. It would have been nice to get them all there so I could deploy the entire force, but it's not to be. So we're dug in along this line here. I've got skirmishers out. I've also got a cavalry brigade forward, but nothing so far. And what I'm going to do here is as... I don't know whose corps is this here. The 3rd Corps under Wilcox moves in on my extreme right. I'm going to shift the Foreign Legion from their current position, and they're going to plug this gap right here between the 2 corps. They should fit in there pretty good. And then we'll move the 3rd Corps in along a line right here along this road. And then what we're going to do is once everybody's in position, I will just start slowly pushing my line forward until I make contact. This is, I believe, Winfield Scott's corps. Or it's Phil Sheridan's corps. He's going in on the left flank. And we'll build his battle line right here. So this is interesting. He's actually got one of his units sitting right at the edge of the map. I've never seen that happen before. So I guess this is where we're going to make first contact with the enemy. So let's go ahead and get... I don't know why their morale's so bad, and they're already experiencing losses, unless it's from his artillery. So let's go ahead and start getting these units into position. We're going to start getting them into a battle line along the Culpeper Plank Road right there. Got a lot of units still arriving, though. And Sheridan's divisions are just now moving into position. Looking at the overall morale of armies, his are pretty high at 70. Mine are only 50. I've actually already experienced routs, and I'm not sure why, and losses, because I haven't made any contact with the enemy. Alright, so I've got most of Wilcox's 3rd Corps in position and ready to attack. I've also got a division under Thomas Buell of the 1st Corps that I've sent over here. I've sent over the 1st Corps Artillery division, although I don't think they've got any line of sight to be able to hit the enemy at the moment. And now even though it's late in the day and we probably won't make this happen right now, I've begun the process of moving Phil Sheridan's entire corps over this way. And hopefully by morning we'll be able to redeploy them. And they'll go in as a second line of attack. But I think we're about ready here. I don't know why this division is not unlimbered and ready to go, but we're going to make that happen. And now I'm going to go ahead and move forward with the attack. We've got Henry Halleck's Regulars Division. U.S. Regulars, 2nd U.S. Infantry, 1st U.S. Infantry, 3rd U.S. Infantry. They're going to attack over here on the right. So let's go ahead and move them forward. Plummer with the 8th Division in the center. That's the 1st Brigade under Davidson. That's the 3rd Brigade under Little. And I think that's all he's got. He's a rather small division. Let's go ahead and start moving him forward. Then we've got Patterson and his 5th Division. New Jersey Militia, Essex Brigade, Pennsylvania Dutch Brigade, who are very close to being an elite unit. Let's move them forward. And now he's starting to adjust to the threat. And then Buell's Division. That is the 7th New Hampshire Infantry, the 1st Brigade, 2nd Brigade. Let's move them up. Again, we're almost at nightfall. It's 6 o'clock. It's September 5th. So we're not going to see too much more daylight, I don't think. One thing I hate about this battlefield is the inability to use artillery in many parts of it, unless they're right up on you. I did show 800 casualties to start this battle, so whatever the numbers show, we have to take about 800 of it off. I don't know why it did that, but we'll very quickly see these numbers swing in our favor, I think. I don't know what Patterson's doing right there. but let's correct it quickly. Actually, we had a... I mean, considering we were moving multiple divisions forward, they did that in pretty good order and kept their lines pretty well. Alright, casualties are showing as even, but that means it's pretty well in my favor because I had 800 to start. And we haven't even engaged the left side of our line yet. Looks like Bowen just exposed his flank over here. Sounds like he's going in for a melee attack. His morale being as high as it is, it's going to take some casualties to knock it down. It's still at 65. So we're going to probably need multiple waves to hit him. How's Sheridan doing in getting over here? Not great. Just getting started. We've got artillery down here that I never moved. Oh, wow. Who just surrendered? Bowen's brigade. Oh, and look at this. I knew that couldn't have been his whole army. So there are more forces up here. So let's do this. Foreign Legion, forward. He's trying to get over there and reinforce that. So let's send the 2nd Cav up here to protect our artillery. We're going to send the Foreign Legion and Gerard's 2nd Division forward. Let's tell Buell to move forward as well. Where's Ord going? I don't really know what Plummer's doing, but Plummer's kind of the screw up in my overall plan here, because the other brigades the other divisions all move forward pretty well. He's going to start withdrawing. That's the one benefit he has to being this close to the edge of the field, is that he can withdraw pretty quick when his men break. But man, did we put a licking on these guys. Big time. About 3-to-1 casualties, it looks like. Because you figure I actually have less than 2,000. We've already inflicted 6,000 casualties on the enemy, which is 10% of his army. Alright, Thomas Wood is here. He's actually taking some casualties because he's out of range. And they're firing on him, so let's move him up and at least get a couple of shots off on these skirmishers before we have to pull back. We do have 2 divisions moving up in that direction. But we may not get that far. Still waiting. There he goes. Buell's finally getting his orders. You can start to see the experience in these units, and this is part of why we're doing so well, I think. We've got all these 5- and 4-star experience units. These are guys that have been on the field from the beginning of the war, and that is paying off big time. U.S. regulars are about to hit Sharpshooter 3, which would be huge. We have an elite unit here, the 2nd U.S. Infantry. So we're able to go ahead and get their elite battle flag. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you'll be able to see that. That one works. There you go. Now when you see the 2 flags like that, you know that's an elite unit. They are Expert Skirmishers 3, which gives them a 50% concealment bonus and a skirmisher reloading speed of plus 10%. And it says this is an elite skirmisher unit. Sturgis, I'm a little concerned about them. Pennsylvania Dutch Brigade. They're getting close to Iron Discipline 3. And because they're in ranged combat, they should be leveling that up. I'm going to tell Buell to go ahead and attack. I'm actually going to tell Alec the same thing. I'm going to give them both attack stances. How are we doing here? Wood's going to hang on as long as he can. We've got those 2 divisions headed that way. I think we're about to run out of daylight, though. Which actually isn't bad, because that's going to give me a chance to redeploy. Who just withdrew? Little withdrew. Another unit surrendered. Sibley's detachment. So that was just some skirmishers that surrendered. Okay, now we get to redeploy. This will be a good opportunity to do exactly what we need to do here. So what I'm going to do here, because I have this opportunity to redeploy, I'm actually going to pull the entire 1st Corps back to a reserve position. Now the 1st Corps have been involved. So have... Oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know why they didn't pull back when they're a part of the 1st Corps. I guess I got to do that manually with them. So I'm going to pull these guys all back. These men might be 3rd Corps. They are. So we're going to pull the 3rd Corps back into a reserve position as well. And then we're going to let the 5th Corps move in and press this attack. So we're going to have completely fresh troops now, going up against guys that are whipped out from a lot of fighting already. So let's pull Alec's Regulars Division back. We're going to put Morgan up there on the front line now, the Nordic Division. I don't know why they're showing as broken. These are brand new troops on the field. I shouldn't say brand new, but they haven't fought in this battle. Let's get our skirmishers out there. We're going to let Sheridan's Corps do his thing. I will hold the Foreign Legion in reserve just in case. I do want to have another division up there in the event we need them. There we go. So we'll put these guys up there. Let's get Hunt up here with his artillery. Not that I'll necessarily be able to use it from here. But okay. Let's advance. I think this will probably happen pretty fast at this point. I'm going to give attack stances to all my division commanders. So now, who do we have on the field over here? Norwegian Raiders, Swedish Guards, the Danish Berserkers, and the Finnish Heavy Guns. That's the Nordic Division. We got the Royal Highlanders here. The Royal Americans, Victorian Volunteers, Royal Artillery Battery. Of course, that's mostly just skirmishers advancing right now. And then over here, Stoneman's Division. I don't think we have any patron units there. We do not. So they're going to start attacking. And then in the meantime, we're going to do the same over here. First Maine right there. Imperial Stormtroopers under John Robinson. Got the 117th Pennsylvania. We've got Wincoop's Brigade. And the Calgary Highlanders out on the flank under Abercrombie. And he's actually moving forward on me, so we may not even have to advance here. In fact, let's... You can see he's got quite a line back there still. We're gonna halt all of our units right where they are. And then let's back up so we can kind of see what's happening. We'll speed up the time a little bit. I don't think it'll take much to win this battle at this point, as long as we can withstand just a little bit of what's happening. his casualties are actually showing less now, but I think that's because some of those units withdrew. This side's going to collapse. He's just going to pull everybody out. You can see he's withdrawing some units. So the brunt of the attack looks like it's focused on this area right in here in the center. He's bringing down more, so I think we'll just hold Barnard. I thought about maybe swinging him around like a door to hit their flank, but since there's a lot more coming this way, I think we'll hold right where we're at. This is all but collapsed over here. Let's tell Stoneman to move forward. Tell Mansfield to do the same with the row of redcoats. In fact, let's advance on all fronts. We've got this battery right here we need to take out. And after the Royal Highlanders just stand here, they're going to take a beating from that artillery. Those guys look good on the battlefield. I like it a lot. Taking a lot of casualties, though. Though they're still showing as stable at the moment. I'm a little bit concerned about their status. I have a couple of cavalry units here that we could send in to try and disrupt these guns. And maybe we should go ahead and send the Foreign Legion up into this center just to help crush this line. How are we holding over here? Pretty good so far. Jackson's charging right into the thick of this. I think we're in good shape. Alright, 10,000 casualties for him, about half that for me. That's 20% of his army, though. His morale's down to 63. We just broke Jackson. Nice job by George Thomas, the Rock of Chancellorsville. I really want to see us completely crush this enemy over here. So you can see Scammon's Foreign Legion moving into position. Where's our cavalry? They're taking a long time to get up there. I want to hit that artillery and drive them off. Just tell Stoneman to keep moving too. Morgan, get in there. Crush these guys. Oh, what's Robinson doing? Alright, let's give this brigade a defensive stance so maybe he'll figure this out on his own. How are we doing here? 117th Pennsylvania. Taking some casualties. Going up against a 3-star unit. Wincoop's holding his own. A little worried about the 117th. Mainly because the unit on their right flank, the Imperial Stormtroopers, just broke and fell back. Now, they only had 1,500 men, this was their first combat. And for some reason, Robinson turned his back on the enemy, and they got fired into their backs, which is why they broke. So I'm not going to get too worried about them. Archer withdrawn, that was one of those batteries. I think if we finish off this last division, that'll be it for this army. very near to a victory now. Not without cost, though. Since we've been on the offensive, we shouldn't be surprised by that. We'll have to look at the numbers and see where the big losses were, but also who was out there doing the most damage during this fight. I think we got him. This is going to end up not even mattering a whole lot. Yeah, he's pulling back. This is where we're going to see, I think, the casualties mount for the enemy. He has retreated, but he's got units still on the field, and our guys are charging right into him, and they're going to cause some major casualties. There's a major victory because we just got Burbridge Brigade to surrender, Embry's Brigade to surrender. Looks like the commander of the 1st Victorian Volunteers has been wounded. But in all, 18,000, 1/3 of his army was defeated in that battle. We lost 8,500 casualties, but a much smaller percentage of our force. Now, I want to inspect the battlefield because I want to look at some numbers here and see who was doing the work in this one. So the majority of the casualties were inflicted by units in the 3rd and 2nd Corps. In the 3rd Corps specifically, it looks like it was the Regulars Division and then the 8th Division. 1st Brigade and 3rd Brigade. Now let's look at the 2nd Corps. So we can see here 2nd Division, and we have 2 2nd Divisions. I guess we're going to have to fix that. So here, it looks like the Calgary Highlanders did not really get a chance to fight. 3rd Brigade inflicted a lot of casualties. And then here, the 117th Pennsylvania inflicted 1,100 casualties. So there are some of your best performing units for that action. All right, after our glorious victory at the Rapidan Bridge, we will see the Confederates once again withdraw from their threat to Washington. Walthel's Corps is going to move out that way. We're probably going to need to get another unit over in the Shenandoah Valley, though. It looks like the Confederates have pulled everybody back. Now, with the latest update to the game, I noticed that we have new available unused policies. So they must have increased the number of policies that you have to start by 2. So now we have 2 available policies without having to increase the amount of money we're investing in policies. So I'm going to go for Diplomacy 3. That's going to unlock some new weapons that'll be available to us, as well as allow further imports. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to take a while, 43 days, for that to happen. But we've definitely cleared things out a little bit in Virginia. Although there's this one unit, Walls Corps, that is still there. Fort Washington Garrison, we're still waiting on the additional troops to arrive. But I'm not too worried about that right now. I am going to move the 5th Corps over here to block the crossing at Fredericksburg, because that's the way that the Union Army kept, or the Confederate Army kept getting around my army, was to cross the Rappahannock at Fredericksburg and move up along the Potomac to hit Washington. So I'm going to block that path so they can't do that again. Walthel's Corps, 15,000 men, Army of the Mississippi. That's just an Army headquarters. So I think we might go ahead and send Wilcox up here to the head of the Shenandoah Valley. Let's see what's happening with the Army of the Kanawha. They actually stopped. They have a 2nd perk available. I'm going to give them, I think, Flying Column. If I can find it. Oh, this is a core level, so they don't actually have that, I don't think. Glorious victory at Memphis Ferry. Cairo Squadron's in kind of rough shape, though. So hopefully they'll be able to get that fixed up. Army of the West, 32,000 strong, is in a good position now. I think we're going to make a move on Memphis with them. He must have a unit up here, so we're going to go try to deal with them. We're going to send Meade and his 36,000 men to drive these guys out of Kentucky. There is still a Confederate unit operating up here in Indiana, McCall's Corps. They're headed toward our army of Indiana, and they're going to have them outnumbered slightly. We've got William Tecumseh Sherman here, building up his base of supply before he launches an attack against Knoxville. Although it looks like he's in pretty good shape, so we're going to make that move on Knoxville now. Alright, looks like Sherman's going to have to face off against McCall's Corps, Army of the Mississippi. 53 guns, we've got 46 guns. We're about half cavalry and half artillery, or half infantry. Yeah, let's fight it. This will be our last battle for this episode. A lot happening. We're starting to make our moves. We're moving on Memphis. We're moving on Knoxville. We've cleared the Confederates from Northern Virginia. All in all, things are starting to look up a little bit. Nice open battlefield. The exact opposite of what we dealt with at Chancellorsville. I've got 2 brigades of cavalry that are dismounted, and they're going to come up and position themselves at this stone wall over here. And then I've got infantry along in here, and then I've got a whole division of cavalry that are kind of sitting back here as a reserve. I'm going to move them over here, but what I'm hoping will happen is that we're going to be in a position to attack with them. I don't know for sure where he's going to come down, but it may be right down this road here, or it may be this one over here. I may go ahead and send a brigade of cav out just to see where he's coming in from. Because if he's coming from this side, I might want to be able to shift everybody over. Okay, he is coming down this road. The only question, of course, is going to be which way is he going to go after that. Of course, he might come this way because he sees me. He's coming down 2 roads. Perfect. So he's doing exactly what I expected him to. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that cavalry division back now. I think the only thing we might want to do here is to move up into a better defensive position that's anchored by the river here. So let's go ahead and move up. Shift a little bit over to the left. All right, so one of my 3 cavalry brigades broke, and they're the 2nd Cavalry. They lost 53 men, but they're still dealing with mixed cavalry weapons. It wasn't the best for them. We're moving our artillery into position now. Looks like they're starting to recover, so they'll hopefully be able to get in on the flank now. And we're making first contact. These guys firing. Not sure why these guys aren't firing yet. Doesn't look like they have line of sight apparently on any of the units that are in action. I'm actually going to shift that battery over this way. And we're going to let him come to us because we've got the advantages. He has to attack. Our morale is significantly higher because we're fighting in Union territory. We have all the advantages on our side right now. Alright, so he's trying to get out here on the flank. Smart move on his part. One that I will have to counter. So let's go ahead and pull this entire cavalry division over here. Otherwise, Rowley's going to be in trouble. In fact, you can already start to see that he's kind of in trouble. Yep. So you can see the AI thinking a little outside the box there, making the smart move and going for my flank. Now, hopefully we can deal with that before Rowley gets driven off, which might happen fairly quickly. No. I just want you to fire on those guys. I don't want you to move there. Alright, Williams is making his move. Rowley may break in the meantime, but that's okay. Oh, look, he's moving another brigade over there. So he's really trying to get around my flank. But Rowley's holding. He's doing a good job. And it doesn't hurt that we have those 2 batteries of artillery over there to help out. Man, he is trying to shift everything he can over that way. Not entirely sure what Williams is thinking with the way he's doing this, but now he's bringing in some artillery. Remember, he does have me outnumbered here. So far, so good on the casualty front. Now he's pulling back a little bit. Rowley's going to get his perk before long the way this is going. Oh, why are they going that way? No, 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 no. Come back here then, and then we'll have to move you forward from there. I know there's a way to do that, and I always forget to do like a waypoint so I can tell them which way to go over there so they don't cross right through the front lines like this. Ugh. That could be a disaster in the making. Because they're going to start getting hit by these skirmishers here. And now they're going to engage right there. Alright, so here's what we're going to have to do then. Let's pull Carl Schurz over here. Since Williams has shifted what he's going to do. See if we can outflank the flankers. Of course, we're leaving a hole in our line, but he doesn't appear too eager to attack over there, so not too worried at the moment. Alright, Schurz. I'd like you to spread your line out a little bit, buddy. Look at Rowley holding, man. I'm impressed by that. I did not think that he was going to be able to hold. Now he's shifting men over that way. Let's go ahead and bring some artillery that way. Come on, Schurz. I need you to get a brigade out here on the left. They're bunched up in one spot right now. Not really too crazy about how this cavalry's doing right here. I might go ahead and pull them back. Now that the threat is not what it was. I'll pull them back into a reserve position. We'll just tighten up our lines. There you go, Schurz. About time. And so now he's got to pull back that flank attack that he had going. Alright, I think we're in good shape. A lot of skirmishing going on. Come on, Williams. Let's get Howe out of there. There we go. We just broke the flanker. Fulton. So let's go ahead and move Schurz up some more. Now we've got a chance to get on his flank. Let's go ahead and have Schurz do that. Oh, Williams, get your guy out of there. Come on. Right now, that's where all our casualties are happening, and it's completely unnecessary. He's lost 600 men. There you go, Schurz. Now, ideally, we can move these guys right up to that creek bed because they'll get some protection there. Alright, looks like another guy broke. I am concerned about these guns right here. I'm going to have to deal with that. He's moving them forward, too. Alright, come on, Schurz. Where are you at with your orders? No, I want both guys moving forward. There we go. We move in. We'll try to hit Waddell. Another unit broke. Now here's what we're going to do here. We're going to mount these guys up. I'm going to send that division up here to hit that battery before he pulls out. Oh, we already got him. All right, that should do it. Nice. A good couple of battles for us in this episode. The tide feels like it's turning in favor of the Union. Well, in the rout at the end of this battle, Manigault's brigade got caught up by a bunch of ours that were advancing. Actually, let's send this division here. We might be able to get some more of these guys. Ah, we ran out of time. Still, 6,500 casualties for the Confederates. Just 2,000 for us, which was nice because we were outnumbered. The cavalry worked out nicely for us there. We only lost one gun. We took out all 50 of his. A good day. We're going to wrap it up right there. Let me know your thoughts. Use that comment section below. And if you would, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.